Let's be honest for a moment. We all have that one corner of the house. It might be the attic, the back of a closet, or, as is so often the case, the dusty, forgotten space under a bed. It's a land of misfit toys, old photo albums, and inherited stuff from relatives we loved, but whose taste we didn't always share. We tell ourselves we'll sort through it one day, but one day rarely comes. We see clutter. We see things that don't match our modern decor. We rarely see a story, let alone a small fortune. But what if you were wrong? What if the very items you dismissed as old-fashioned junk were actually whispering a story of a bygone era, holding a secret value you could never imagine? This isn't just a fantasy. It was the stunning reality for one man who visited the PBS hit show Antiques Roadshow during its 2018 stop in Louisville, Kentucky. He arrived with no grand expectations, just a healthy dose of curiosity and two incredibly heavy objects wrapped in blankets. He didn't think he had treasure. In fact, for years, he and his family had treated these items as little more than inconvenient, oversized paperweights. Their story is a powerful reminder that sometimes the greatest value lies not in what we buy, but in what we bother to keep. The man standing before the seasoned eye of expert John Delaney of Delaney Antique Clocks began to unravel a familiar family tale. The items, a matching clock and barometer, weren't things he'd chosen. They were legacies. They originally belonged to his grandparents, who had acquired them upon retiring from their life's work running a lodge in the picturesque landscape of upstate New York. You can almost picture it. The grand, rustic lodge, the changing seasons, and these two ornate pieces keeping time and predicting the weather for guests and family alike. From his grandparents, they passed to his mother, likely holding a place of honor on her walls, a tangible connection to her own parents. And then, as they so often do, they made their way to the next generation, our guest. Here, however, the story takes a turn that so many of us can relate to. The clock and barometer, once proud fixtures, suddenly felt out of place. Tastes change, homes are modernized. When the time came for a remodel, the family looked at these heavy, gilded objects and made a judgment call. We said, well, these have got to go. The guest explained to Delaney, a hint of sheepishness in his voice. Their solution wasn't to sell them or even store them carefully in the attic. Instead, they were relegated to the ultimate place of forgotten things. We actually put them on the floor under the bed and had them under the bed for years. Out of sight, out of mind, the family lived their lives above these sleeping artifacts, the daily hustle and bustle completely ignorant of the Gilded Age craftsmanship lying just inches beneath them. It was only when a friend mentioned the approaching Antiques Roadshow that a spark of curiosity was lit. What if? What if there was more to these things than just weight and weird carvings? So we made plans to come, he recounted, and we got tickets to come down here. And so we brought them to see exactly what they're worth and where they came from. He gestured to the pieces on the table, still seeing them through the same eyes he always had. They're very heavy, he added, and we just had them for years. They look kind of wild, like they have these ornate, almost menacing figures on them, you know. John Delaney, with the calm, appreciative smile of a true expert, chuckled. He saw something entirely different. He saw not wild figures, but artistry. He saw not just weight, but quality. Well, you have two very unusual, he began, his voice carrying the weight of discovery. Actually, it makes it a clock set. A clock, and this is actually a barometer. This was the first revelation. They weren't just two random, similar-looking objects. They were a pair designed to be together. To have a clock and a barometer as a sort of a pair is really unusual, Delaney elaborated, his excitement building. In that era, a family might splurge on a beautiful clock, but to purchase a matching barometer was a sign of true affluence and taste. This probably was designed to go on either side of a window or a door. He then addressed the guest's most immediate observation, their sheer heft. And you said they were very heavy. I would agree with you, Delaney affirmed. Their castings are super heavy. They probably weighed 5, 6, 7 pounds apiece. But to an expert, weight isn't an inconvenience. It's a hallmark of excellence. To have a case like that quality is something that is evident, certainly obvious when you look at them. Delaney then invited the guest, and everyone watching, to look closer, to see the pieces not as clutter, but as a symphony of craftsmanship. He pointed out the distinct dials. The barometer featured a classic silver-washed brass dial, intricately,